Hello, Casey and Hannah. Hello, Bishop Carroll class, religion class. I'm Connor Semmelsberger. I graduated from BC a couple years ago, but now I'm a student at University of Maryland near DC. I'm shooting live from my dorm room, as you can see. So first I'll walk through the couple basic questions about my trip to see the Pope, and then some more personal stuff. So I actually got to see the Pope 2 times, once in Washington, D.C., and also the whole weekend in Philadelphia. So I'll talk about the D.C. trip real quick, and then I'll go to when I saw him in Philly. So the first question is, what was it like traveling to see the Pope? Did wait in line? So yes, definitely waited in line. Got up at 3:30 in the morning to take the subway down to D.C. with my girlfriend and a couple other people from the Catholic Student Center here at school. And it was pitch black, waited in the lines for a long time. You gotta go through all the security. Got my apple confiscated so I couldn't throw it at anybody, so I couldn't take my apples in. But what did I get to witness? So hundreds of people all coming out to see the Pope. Awesome. It was the Pope's speech to Congress is what I saw. Here I have this ticket right there, pretty cool, from our congressman to go see him. And we just watched a viewing of the address. So he was giving the address inside Congress. We were on the front lawn, thousands of people all on the Washington Mall, the mall with the monument behind us. So that was just the logistics of getting to DC. So now the Philadelphia trip, what was it like getting there? So I went with my roommate, who's from Philadelphia, and I stayed with him and his family. Me and 6 or so of our friends went up. And we were there Saturday, so Saturday night got to go to 2 things. So Saturday was the World Meeting of Families, that was that ticket. So Saturday, it was all day kind of event, even though you didn't see the Pope till the evening. You were up all day long, traveling on subways and buses to get there. And the city's all shut down, so you had to walk everywhere, big city. And the event for that night was like bands and entertainment, and then the Pope was giving a speech that night after he already gave a speech at Independence Hall. But it was cool because the Pope had a parade, so that was at night, and we waited amongst thousands of people just to see the Pope for 10 seconds as he drives past. But it was really cool to see him there. And then Sunday was the Mass, and that was a lot to get there. We had to park in New Jersey, take a bridge across. We walked probably 6 miles. You wait in line for security. Tons of people selling stuff, people flags and shirts. Take the Pope home with you. That's what the guys were shouting. And the Mass was beautiful. Didn't get a good view of the Mass, but got to see the Pope drive through again, another parade, this time in daylight, to the Mass. So that was just the logistics. That's what I'm saying in this video, and then the next one I'll hit on some more in detail about each trip. Okay, so I'm back again to talk a little more details about the trip. You know, why you go, why see the Pope. So again, I'll talk about both DC and Philly since they were both such great experiences. So first question is, what was the most memorable from your experience and why? So for the DC trip, what was most memorable is definitely just seeing the Pope walk out on the lawn after his address. So he gave the address in English, actually, so we could understand him. And then after, we were all chanting his name, not sure if he would come out. And here he walks out with the Speaker of the House, the Vice President, to see thousands of people just staring at him, chanting his name, telling him we love him, Papa Francisco. So that was just so beautiful, just such a humble man from Argentina coming to the United States, played upon as a celebrity. It was just cool seeing him on such an iconic place, the Capitol building. And I'm a politics major at Maryland, so my 2 favorite things in life, my faith and, government and politics. So to see those 2 things together with the Pope, with our whole Congress, it doesn't get much better than that. That's like, that was my Super Bowl, if you could call it. So for Philly, what was most memorable was the second parade. So this is my ticket for the Mass. There he is, Papa Francisco. So the parade there on his way to do the Mass was beautiful. We waited hours and walked hours to go see him, and we didn't know there was going to be a parade. We thought like we're just going to see a screen to watch the Mass, and that was about it. But after we walked, and we got there just in time, and we're on this a little bit of a hillside, and here he's driving past, and he was taking his time more so than Saturday night when we saw him. He zoomed past, but today he was taking his time looking at people, and he stops right in front of me and my friends who were there, and we weren't right along the fence, but we were up on a hill, so we could look right down and see him. He stops right in front of us, staring right at us, just this guy, this man you've seen so much talked about, the leader of the church, and there he is staring right at you, giving you the blessing like this, and you just feel so loved, just, such care from one man who is such a humble person, yet just played upon as a celebrity, like I said. So that was just the most beautiful moment. After all that walking, all that struggle and stress to get there, just beautiful to look him right in the eyes, somebody that, is just so important to the world. Second question, so why did you feel it was important to go see him? Well, to see him in D.C., it was almost a no-brainer. He was so close and everything was free. It's like, I have to go see him. He's right here in D.C. So that's why I went there. But to go take a whole weekend and go to Philly, why do that? Well, my faith has just become such an important part of my life since coming to school, even after Bishop Carroll. And to see the leader of the church, Pope Francis, who everybody clings to, everybody loves, to go see him in person. Everyone was maybe complaining like, oh, you have to wait in lines and all of this time, transportation to get there. But I would do it all again. It was all worth it just to see this one man, People maybe put him on the pedestal of like God, but he's just this humble person. He's still a human just like us. But to see just the way he carries himself and the compassion he has for everybody, you can't pass that opportunity up. It's like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see a person like that, especially when they're so close and so easy to get to. I would have been kicking myself had I not gone. So that's why it was just so important. And finally, was there anything I didn't get to see or hear the Pope that I wish I would have seen? Overall, I'd say no. What I expected was awesome. I got to see him 10 feet away, so from me to my door right now, I saw the Pope, something I'll never forget. A guy that barely even speaks my own language is pretty cool. But during the speech to Congress, something I was looking forward to so much, it was in English, so I could understand him. But what I would have liked even more was, as he's relating to the people, as he's relating it to politics, to just have spoken to the people in Congress more, the people that are making our laws, that are our leaders, that maybe we look at as maybe not the best people, the best human beings, whatever, but to speak to them more. But he did a great job overall. And in Philadelphia, maybe a little less walking. I had probably, like I said, 6 miles to get to see him. So long walk, lots of hours without food or drink or something like that because everything's so expensive. You're not going to buy it on the streets. But overall, it was a great experience. Like I said, have to take that opportunity when it's presented. You never know when you'll get to, eat the Eucharist that was consecrated by the Pope. Something so amazing to get to experience that with 1 million people all at Mass together. Power in numbers is true. For prayer, you could really feel that. So the experience was great and such a blessing to go see that, especially with my friends, my other Catholic friends here at school. You get to know these people, but to experience something like that together, it kind of bonds you together. Like, hey, we were at the Pope together. That's something doesn't happen every day. So like I said, how important it was to see him also because how much he's in the news. You hear about this guy and you don't know really what to believe. Some people say, oh, well, he's changing the laws, he's changing this. But just see this person and experience him as a whole was just awesome. Especially, not doing it on your own, but with this group of people. So that was my experience with the Pope. I'm glad I got to share that with you today. Hopefully that resonates with some people. I wish everyone in the classroom or everybody could have seen the Pope, but maybe some of you got to watch him on TV. But seeing him in person was just something that I'll never forget, and something that no picture could describe. People trying to take videos and pictures all the time, but I set my phone aside, set my camera aside to just take it in that mental photography of like the emotion and the experience that a picture or video can't show. It's just something you get to personally share, just like we do it maybe at Mass too.
The next person we interviewed was Courtney Martinazzi, Connor's girlfriend, and she went with him, so they had the same travel experiences. So we're just going to read the answers she gave when we asked her the more personal questions.
The first question was, what was your most memorable experience and why? She answered, my most memorable experience was on Sunday, September 27th, the day of the Papal Mass, before he went back to Italy. Though the Mass was an incredible experience within itself, even though it was primarily in Spanish, which I couldn't understand. My most memorable moment was when Pope Francis drove past me in the Popemobile. My dad was blessed enough to have been able to see Pope John Paul II, and the only thing he could really tell me was how you could just feel his holiness. Well, my dad was right. When Pope Francis drove past me, I felt this overwhelming sensation of love. I felt so loved, it brought me to tears. It was incredible watching people chase after this man just to get a glimpse of someone who was no different than you and I. That brought me hope. The world is a scary place, and sometimes unexpected things happen that make you really wonder what this world is coming to. But that's the beautiful thing about God's love and the power it has over evil. No matter how dark the world may seem, all it takes is a spark for a fire to start, and just like God's infinite love for us, it is sure to spread.
The next question we asked was, why did you feel it was important to see the Pope? Her response was, how many opportunities in your life are you actually going to have to not only see the Pope in person, but have the opportunity to be within 10 feet of him? The Pope isn't like seeing the President, where seeing the President would be an incredible experience, no doubt. Seeing the Pope is an honor. The head of our church, the closest person to God here on earth, a man who stands where St. Peter once stood. If that isn't a good enough reason to miss whatever events were happening that weekend, then I don't know what is. And finally, it was an opportunity to witness how many people believe and love exactly what you do.